Alright, so I got a video reply for Allie from Allie Zen Zone, Relaxing with Allie and Chilling with Allie, right? First off, for anybody that ends up going ahead and checking out any of her pages, you know, only knowing of her from, my recommendation, mentioning her in the video replies, like, she's constantly spitting facts. Like, tonight, she's just straight up taking me to church. So, also, she's got a affiliate with this company called Honest Spirit. She's got the links, be able to go ahead and check out the merch in there. But go show some love. You know, go ahead and add to that bag. That's all I'm gonna say. And no, I don't get a cut in any of it. It's just, I mean, fuck. Everybody has their hustle. All right. So much to go ahead and respond on. All right. First off, nothing but facts tonight. The factor of, the attempts to embarrass me and realizing, oh shit, that ain't going down that way. All right. The amount of times that I've had family try to do that shit, not only family, just anybody. All right. Because people have made a fucking game of it, not understanding, the shit that they were able to get away with before and the shit now is totally different. Like, first off, the same person that's wanting to relentlessly harass me is one of the people that were involved with, stealing all my belongings, after attempted vehicular manslaughter. Like, that's gonna be okay. See, there's a few things that people that have gotten to know me, they've gotten to learn. All right. Number one, never assume an action is an option. All right. I've accepted the monster that I am, but I refer to myself as the monster who, strikes fear into the hearts of other monsters. The reason why is because I actually stand for something. All right. And when I say that, I mean, the cops know about me. I mean, shit. Anybody doing anything wrong anywhere in this state knows about me. I'm the motherfucker that'll go ahead and literally bring a Molotov cocktail and then go ahead and burn your house down and go and scream Molotov. All right. If you've pushed me to the point of having to do some retaliatory shit on that level, understand. If you wanted to say at all costs or, to the death, then understand, motherfucker, we're going to the death. And understand, if we're going to the death, it ain't my first rodeo. I got the fucking scars to show that shit. All right? At this point, I'm more scar tissue than skin. Now, the funny thing is, I've had to go ahead and take a look at my patterns, and I've come to realize something. With the exception of 3 jobs, every job that I have had, I have been under the direct orders of somebody that at one point has either A, been accused of being a war criminal and had to face the military tribunal, B, straight up warmonger trying to go ahead and learn how to embrace peace, which is really fucking difficult, or C, somebody that stands for something, even if it's not the same thing that I stand for, straight to the point of being willing to burn down everything in their fucking path if it means that their objective would be able to be obtained. So I've gotten to learn a thing or two about myself in that circumstance, because understand, it's quite literally succeed and survive or die. It makes no difference to them. That shit builds you different. But the funny thing is, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and make an observation because you've been making some observations my way, and you're right. You really are right. And I gotta say, I appreciate being seen. All right, like, because the funny thing is too, you're also willing to go ahead and say some shit to go ahead and hurt my feelings, and that's all good. Because you know what? Guess what? Sometimes I need the stupid knocked out my head. I embrace it. But funny thing is, take a look at your demeanor. All right? I take a look at your demeanor. And the funny thing is, this is the scenario if we were ever in this type of circumstance, which considering that you're at the opposite side of the country that I am, it's statistically improbable unless orchestrated that that would happen. But like say for example, if I got the opportunity to be able to hang out with you, all right? How would it go? And considering the fact that you don't really seem like the social type unless you're the one going ahead and controlling the direct trajectory, you know? In that scenario, I'd go ahead and I'd be like, first thing, I'd go ahead and I'd grab a couple of bags of beef jerky because, Zilla probably would go ahead and enjoy some beef jerky and be like, hey, can I give the dog a sacrifice? Obviously, I'd go ahead and bring some for the dog mama too. I ain't stupid. But pretty much the boundaries and parameters. Ironically enough, it seems like you might have the same similar boundaries and trigger points that I do. Like, for example, I'm not big on touch. So obviously, complaints when it comes down to cuddling and shit, that touched the fuck out for a lifetime. Basically. But, alright, say for example, we're to go ahead and watch a movie, you know? If it was a first time watching a movie and everything, I ain't talking. And if you're talking, I'm probably gonna try to shut you the fuck up. If it's a movie that we both enjoy, something that literally has rewatch value, that literally, if you're able to watch a movie 4 times and still get the desire to watch that movie again, it's got rewatch value. And if it's got rewatch value, it's also got some value to be able to have some fun with the narrative, you know? So honestly, I can picture me and you with one of those movies that have rewatch value, going ahead and just straight up roasting the fuck out of the movie. Like, just, Mystery Theater 5000 status. Like, just heckling the fuck out of it. All right? But, like, say, for example, if I were to throw an idea up there, it'd be like, hey, so I know it wasn't planned to take this, this direction, but, I got a date idea. Tell me if you'd be down, all right? And then I would suggest, like, for example, one of the ideas that I've had that I think would be a fun and interesting date. Like, for example, getting onesies, for sugar gliders, and then going to a trampoline park and just having a blast, I mean, shit, physical exercise, at the same time getting to be goofy and shit. Funny thing is, though, it would also end up depending on your mood because if you were feeling adventurous, you might be up for it. But if you weren't feeling adventurous, you'd probably be like, man, you sound goofy. And then I'd probably be like, either that or I'd be like, hey, you see a shirtless man at the aquarium, what do? Give the man a tea. Or. Some shit like that. So my point is, like, what directions that it could end up going, it quite literally seems like me and you have similar boundaries and similar moods where, like, it could be one of those things, like, one day be like, listen, your very existence is gonna piss me off. Like, you go ahead and go into your own corner, entertain yourself. I ain't trying to deal with you. For me, my response would be like, cool. And then, if the dog ended up going ahead and ended up getting its attention drawn to me, I'd probably end up going ahead and showing that dog as much attention as it wants. So, kind of sounds like a win for the pets. But anyway, my point on this is boundaries are not hard, I mean, ultimately, wanting to be around somebody or socialize with somebody, it really just depends on what their personal boundaries are and what those quirks are, Like, I know I talk quite a bit, You know, and I know that could end up being annoying as fuck. But guess what else? That also could be weaponized against people that annoy the fuck out of you. I'm just saying. It's a gift and a curse. And a heavy responsibility. But anyway. Another thing. People have gotten to learn the factor that I'm fiercely loyal. But when you fuck me over, I am fiercely fuck you. Like, understand the disrespect that ultimately somebody's wanting me to go ahead and overlook is the fact that I had the ashes of a dead relative in my stuff. All that stuff that got burglarized, yeah, there was the ashes of one of my dead relatives in those belongings. All right? And then that person actually had the balls to want to ransom the ashes of my dead relative. Not understanding. I will equalize the fuck out of that situation, all right? I mean, obviously, they're cremated. They're ashes now. But you wanted to hold those ashes hostage, kind of like trying to hold the memory of that relative hostage. Instead, I'll go ahead and I'll level the playing field. Burn that fucking house down with you in it. You know? Then I won't be able to tell your ashes, their ashes, all the same. And the funny thing is, the cops know I'm this way. They know. But they also know that given the opportunity, I try to utilize it for the best. So, ultimately, one of my greatest joys in life, I roast and heckle the fuck out of fugitives. That I end up going ahead and finding their paper trail of crimes that they think that they got away with online. All right? And the cops usually end up laughing their fucking ass off. If I was in an official capacity, could not do it without getting fired for moral turpitude. Fully aware of that. But why the fuck I gotta give a fuck about their feelings? They don't give a fuck about the feelings of the vulnerable people that they end up going ahead and taking advantage of. Oh, so I'm supposed to feel some remorse for them? Nah, fuck them. But apparently me being a little cynical and jaded automatically makes me the fucking devil. Funny thing is, too, by the way, with the way that you've ended up talking about your family, it sounds like there are a few relatives that you got that I would fit right in with that I probably should never meet. Because ultimately, if they were to hit me up and ask me to ride, I'd be like, shit, what the fuck we doing? I leap before I think, just like it seems like their problem might be. And it might sound like a dangerous combination. It also sounds like something that ultimately would end up being a hell no. Keep way the fuck away from me. Opposite side of the country, we good. We good. Arm's length. Perfectly understandable. Understand. Self aware. Anyway, my point on this is there are a lot of people that want to go ahead and test those waters, all right? You know, the whole 10 toes down, that whole thing. People do not understand the level of restraint that I show. So ultimately, if you're talking crazy to me and I start smiling and I start chuckling a little bit, just understand I'm a moment away from going ahead and caving somebody's skull in. Funny thing is, stab. Skull literally going against concrete. And I also want to point out a lot of the people that seem to apparently have a problem with me, it's because of the fact that they tried to fucking murder me. And then swore that I was dead. Understand, when you go to the point of chopping the bottom of somebody's feet off, stabbing them in their stomach, and chopping half their dick off, and they get surgically stitched up on that as well as brain surgery, and they're alive after all you did to fucking kill them, and then took chance after chance after chance to try to kill them again. and that motherfucker wouldn't die. We're talking at this point, I am rivaling the survival rate of Michael Myers from Halloween. I don't really think that's an adversary that you want to go ahead and test the level that you're at. That's not training wheels level. That is motherfucker find a boss level. But I also try to do as much good for my community as I'm capable of doing. When I'm given the opportunity and the tools to do so, I'm on it. Because that makes me feel good about myself. Get to actually make a difference, especially because of the fact that a lot of the times the people that end up being the recipients of my capability of extending that generosity are people that are in situations that I have survived, that I've been through. I've actually walked in their shoes before, whether they know it or not. So for me, I get to show and extend the level of compassion without, you know, causing somebody to have to sacrifice their dignity or their pride, to help assist them in the situation and make it a little bit better. I mean, don't get me wrong, continued survival is still going to be on them. But, I mean, shit, sometimes all you need is a little bit of a cushioning. Somebody treating you like a person rather than, something at the bottom of their shoe. To go ahead and be able to have the rest of that persistence to refuse to give up. So, I understand I'm complex. I understand in a way I'm also difficult as fuck. Because I understand too why everyone would feel like they need to walk on eggshells around me. But ultimately, the question that I end up having to ask myself is, do they need to walk on eggshells around me because I'm truly that much of a threat and they know it at this point? Or is it because at this point they think I don't know what they did to potentially end up invoking that wrath? Because that sounds like two entirely different problems. Don't get me wrong, could have the same outcome, but in every single circumstance, including kill or be killed that I've ever been in, there's been one common denominator, and that has been I didn't start it, but I was sure as fuck ready to finish it. I'm just saying. Some people take don't start nothing, won't be nothing very seriously. I happen to fall into that category. You know? I extend the same level of respect that I'm given. And I don't expect to be respected. I just strive to be somebody worth respecting. And then eventually it tends to appear on its own. I mean, fuck, there's really not much else you can do. Ultimately, I'm not responsible for anybody else's opinion of me. I'm responsible for my opinion of me. But ultimately, anyone else's opinion of me doesn't really make too much of a difference. I can't control it. And it's really not my business, so why am I going to stress myself about it? But ultimately, I come with that caution label. But for the people that have been willing to take that risk and have done right by me, one common denominator that's always been has been, if it's within my capability, you call me, you let me know that there's a problem, you let me know there's a situation that you feel like I'd be properly equipped to be able to assist with, I'm willing to. If I give a fuck about you, to have you back. If I don't give a fuck about you, you're never gonna have to question it. I'm gonna be right direct, right in your fucking face with it. I mean, shit. Doesn't sound too complicated to me. It just sounds like intentional misunderstanding based on what the individuals may deserve for me to do to them based on the actions that they've taken towards me. You know, especially with that staunch believer in don't start nothing, won't be nothing. But anyway, that's just my observations and everything. And I gotta say, I'm looking forward to, your response when you choose to respond. If you choose to respond, that's your business, that's your choice. And just know, too, that when I go ahead and I give a shout out to your channel and everything like that, I'm not expecting anything in return. It's just, I have deemed that watching your content is not a fucking waste of my time. So ultimately, if there's anybody that my opinion ends up going ahead mattering towards, and they are like me, basically tired of people sugarcoating shit and fluffing it all the fuck up, they might find it is not a waste of their time either. So ultimately, that ends up going ahead and drawing attention to your channel. That's my way of being like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and pop fly this shit right into your, to your corner of the field. Ultimately, what you choose to do with it, that's all you, but appreciate the gems of wisdom, especially because another thing I've noticed too, never once did you ever have to speak up for me. And the funny thing is, with how outspoken I am, I know you know that I didn't need you to defend me, but you also saw how much of a fuckwad that half these people that are going ahead and trying to just be constantly just relentless with the fucking stupid shit. And I think you took personal exception to that too. You saw exactly what was triggering me and being like, no, this person is not as much of a crash out as they're being painted out to be. It's just that they've had to deal with this on a daily basis for years. Shit. I'd already done some shit that would have ended up landing me a life sentence. So the factor that they're showing that much patience, which by the way, that shit has ran the fuck dry. So I appreciate you going ahead and speaking up, being like, yeah, no, you're not wrong for, being as frustrated as you are with the situation. It means something. Because ultimately, that was time that you chose to end up taking to help address a situation that wasn't a situation that you needed to address. It wasn't a you problem. But you were willing to empathize. And empathy is a lot rarer in modern society, especially with the advancement of technology that there is, than people would end up thinking. At least anybody that doesn't relentlessly live behind a screen. Because then you can control what you end up changing content-wise too. But that's just my 2 cents on it. And also, by the way, all I gotta say, like I said in the beginning of this video, straight up bringing me to church on this shit. Louder for the people in the back.